Chapter 50, Callum. I barely got the key in the lock before the front door was flung open and Mom pounced at me. Where have you been? You look terrible. Are you all right? Where's Jude? Isn't he with you? I thought he was here, I said wearily, closing the front door behind me. No, he left almost as soon as you did, said Mom. What happened? Didn't you hear? I asked, astonished. Hear what? She should have heard the explosion from here, but then again, maybe not. Our house was right across from the shopping center. It hasn't been on the telly. I turned onto the TV, perplexed. The news wasn't on, just a rerun of some ridiculous detective program where practically every lowlife in it was a knock. I recognized this episode. A cop was chasing a knot scumbag who'd shot and killed his partner. Callum, talk to me. What happened? Mom. We interrupt this program to bring you a news flash, a voice suddenly declared. My head whipped up. The telly's most popular newsreader appeared, his expression grim. My heart began to thump in a crazy way that made me feel physically sick. Please don't let it be something bad about us knots, Mom breathed. Just under 30 minutes ago, a bomb exploded at the world-famous Dundale Shopping Center. At least 7 people are known to have been killed outright, with scores more wounded. Casualties are being taken by ground and air ambulances to local hospitals. All hospitals in the immediate area have been put on full alert. A warning was received from the Knot group calling itself the Liberation Militia only 5 minutes before the bomb actually exploded. That's a lie, Jude said. Mom and I turned as one to see Jude standing in the doorway with Dad beside him. We turned back to the TV screen as Dad shut the front door. The newsreader's face was replaced by a TV camera at the scene. It swung around this way and that, filming the carnage of people lying on the ground, windows shattered, blood on the concourse. There was no voiceover to accompany it, no voice echoing sorrow at the devastation, no voice filled with indignation, no sound at all, just silence, which made it worse. The camera focused on one woman sitting on the ground, rocking back and forth, blood running down her forehead into her eyes. On to the next atrocity. The camera moved in a jerky fashion as if the person holding the camera was shaky, trembling, which he or she probably was. A child knelt by a man's side. The child was crying. The man was still. The camera was only on them for a second or two, but it was enough. The Prime Minister appeared on the screen, his expression angry and forbidding. If the Liberation Militia thinks this cowardly, barbaric act of terrorism is going to win over the vast population of this country to their way of thinking, then they are very much mistaken. All they've done is strengthen our resolve not to give in to such people or tactics. Dad, Jude whispered. Shush. Dad focused on the telly and nothing else. The newscaster's face reappeared. A senior police officer on the scene believes that the bomb was planted in a cafe bin inside the shopping center, but stated that it was too early to speculate. He did promise, however, that the perpetrators of this crime would be brought to swift justice. There'll be more information about this in our main news bulletin after the current program. Once again, a bomb has gone off in the Dundale Shopping Center, killing at least 7 people. The detective program returned just as the cop gave a flying tackle and brought the killer Knot on the ground. Dad, what happened? You said. Shush, boy, Dad admonished, looking at Mom. Mom used the remote to switch off the telly. Then she turned to look directly at Dad. I'm going to ask you something, Ryan, and I want your solemn promise that you're going to tell me the truth. Not now, Maggie. Dad headed for the stairs. Mom instantly moved away to block his way. Yes, and now, did you or Jude plant that bomb? I don't know what you're talking about. Damn it, Ryan, don't treat me like a cretin. Promise me you had nothing to do with this business. Dad didn't speak. He regarded Mom, defiance in every bitter twist and turn of his expression. What I did or didn't do is none of your business, Dad said at last. I'd never heard Dad speak to Mom like that before. The pinched, angry look on Mom's face was an indication that she'd never heard the tone of voice from Dad either. Mom and Dad regarded each other, their expressions sounding harder and harder. They were standing perfectly still and moving farther and farther apart. Mom deliberately turned her back on Dad to face Jude. Jude, did you plant that bomb? No, don't look at your father. I asked you a question. Now answer it. Jude, keep your mouth shut. Do you hear? Dad ordered grimly. Jude, I'm still your mother, Mom said very, very quietly. Answer me, please. Desperately, Jude looked from Mom to Dad and back again. Jude, said Mom. We had to, Mom. Our cell was ordered to do it. Some of us set it up last night, but they said they'd phoned through with the warning an hour before it went off. I swear they did. They said that everyone would be evacuated in plenty of time. The verbal waterfall tumbled from Jude's mouth. You killed, you murdered all those people, Mom whispered, appalled. Dad said they would phone through with a warning. That's what he said. I don't understand. Jude turned bewildered towards Dad. Mom's whole body was shaking, heaving. Her lips clamped together as she struggled to stop herself from retching. Maggie, Dad's mask slipped for the first time that evening. He looked so forlorn. He touched Mom's arm. She spun around and slapped his face so hard there was a crack as her finger bent right back. You murdering, lying, you promised me there'd never be anything like this. You promised you'd only be involved in the background and planning. You promised. I didn't have any choice. Once you're in, they've got you, and you have to do as you're told. You don't. You could have said no. You should have said no. I was protecting you, Maggie, and our sons. I had no choice. Protecting us from what? From something you inflicted on us in the first place? Mom dismissed. Who do you think I'm going to do all this for? Dad cried. I know exactly who you're doing it all for. But she's dead, Ryan, and murdering innocent people won't bring her back. You've got it wrong, Maggie. Dad shook his head. Have I? I warned you, Ryan. I begged you not to involve Jude in all this. Mom cradled her now limp right hand in her left. One of her fingers was bent back on itself as in a definite V shape. I'm sorry, Dad began, but if anything, that just made things worse. Sorry? Sorry? Say that to the families of all those people you murdered, Mom yelled at him. How could you? I can't bear to look at you. Dad straightened up, his eyes flint-like again. The mask was back with a vengeance. At least now the crosses will know we mean business. All those people killed and maimed, and that's all you have to say about it? Mom's voice dropped to a strange hush. They were legitimate targets, said Dad. Mom stared at Dad like she'd never seen him before. Silence. She turned away wearily. In that case, we have nothing more to say to each other. Jude, could you take me to the hospital, please? I think I've broken one of my fingers. I'll take you, Dad insisted. I don't want you anywhere near me. Don't ever come near me again, Mom hissed. Come on, Jude. Jude looked at Dad, unsure of what to do. Dad nodded and turned away. Jude took Mom by her left arm and led her out of the house. Only when the door shut did Dad let go. Closing his eyes, he wrapped his arms around himself and bent his head, almost like he was praying. Except I knew he couldn't because Dad doesn't believe in God. He began to tremble like old man Tony when he got the DTs. Dear Lord, please, Dad began, but then he opened his eyes and saw me watching him. He started with surprise. A second or two passed before I saw recognition on his face. And everything that had happened had been completely forgotten by everyone. I'll just go see if Jude and Mom need my help, I stammered. It wasn't that I wanted to be with them so much. I just needed to get away, to be somewhere else. Dad didn't try to stop me. I grabbed my jacket and headed out, shaking as the door shut behind me. The evening air was warm and welcome on my skin. Was I going to try and catch up with Mom and Jude, or just run and keep going, forever and ever, amen? I looked left, then right. My conscience made up my mind for me. I followed after Mom and Jude.